This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and I'm excited about this interview. It's for our UFO viewers, Thiago Ticchetti, all the way from Brazil. My first interview ever with anyone from Brazil. We have done some out there UFO interviews and some interviews with very credible UFO people. You are one of the top researchers from Brazil, very credible. You deal with government investigations and everything. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you very much, Devin, for the invitation. I love to be outside of Brazil, speaking to people from outside of Brazil because Brazilian ufology is rich. Is rich. Brazil is a country the size of a continent, and Brazil is a
Right.
hotspot of UFOs. And we have all kinds of UFO types of UFO cases here in Brazil.
Yeah, and what's very interesting about Brazil is there's been some UFO attacked type cases, and there's a ton of cases. If any UFO researches, UFO researcher looks it up, it's one of the hot spots. But first of all, could you tell us how you first became interested in this subject?
I always say that I was born with ufology in my blood because since I was a boy, since I started to read, I read comic books, Spider-Man, Captain America, something like that, and UFO magazines, mysteries magazine here in Brazil. And when I start to research, I was 19 years old when it came to Brazil. I was born in Rio. My father was a Brazilian Air Force pilot, so I lived in Natal, is the capital of Rio Grande do Norte state in northeast of Brazil, and I live in the south of Brazil in Santa Maria. And then I moved to Rio de Janeiro. And when I moved to Brasilia, I was 19 years old. I started to research, and I never stopped. Now I'm more than 30 years researching this phenomena.
Was there any particular case that caught your eye where you started to believe, hey, this might not just be all fantasy. This is a real phenomena.
Well, Devin, for me, it was always real. All the time was real since I was a kid. But when I was 8 years old, I lived, I was living in Rio de Janeiro, and I saw a UFO, a UAP, now called UAP. I was playing with my friends. It was before 8 o'clock p.m. because 8 o'clock p.m. I must be at my house because my mother was told me to my brother and I, well, have to be here to have a dinner. So I was playing. It was night, and I saw a red light in the sky just appear in the sky and start to descend and stop over a mountain in Rio de Janeiro. They call Pedra da Gávea. Gávea is stone, and there's a shape of a face of a giant laid it laid it in a side in the horizontal, and this ball of light, red light, just hovered over the nose of the giant, the sleep giant, and suddenly disappeared. And I don't know how long, but then this light appeared again and started to raise, getting brighter or bigger, but in red color, very bright or bigger, and start to raise again and make this movement 3 times. And on third time, disappear to the sky, and I never saw it. Well, I was 8 years old. Okay, I was a kid, but as I said, my father is a Brazilian Air Force pilot, and when I live in Natal, when I live in Santa Maria, I live in Air Force bases. So we are talking something that happened in 1982. 1982. There's no drones. There was no satellites like Starlinks. And even I was 8 years old, I know how to distinguish between helicopters, airplane. satellites, balloons, and what I saw was none of it was something from another world because since today I never saw an airplane or a drone or something do this movement and disappear in the sky. So what I saw was a UFO. I'm not saying that it was an extraterrestrial, but it was a UFO. And this, marked me a lot because I was a kid and I remember clearly in my mind. And my desire to understand the phenomena just grew up since I was 8 years old.
Yeah, the one thing that some people don't take into account when they say that these could be drones or different countries spying on us. Of course, you're from Brazil, but like we've been seeing these things. You mentioned 1982. We've been seeing them since the 40s, I think. And even like there's records of pretty much all of time. But in the modern era, we've been seeing stuff that we haven't even been able to do anything close to producing until recent years, but they've been around for decades.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. What we see in the sky is a technology that we don't have it. If you go back in the 70s, in 80s, we had some sightings that could be explained by secret aircrafts like a Blackbird, like stealth, but they are then they were showed to the people. People saw it. What I saw in '82, what many thousands of millions of people saw since the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, what they saw, where are these machines? If they were spies, if they were experimental airplanes, where are they now? Because past more than a half century, and we still don't have this technology to make these movements, to make this go in the sky and then dive in the ocean or a river or a lagoon and have the same maneuver as if it was in the sky. So what was that? Who have this technology? We don't have it. Brazil don't have it. Russia, I don't think so because if Russia had this technology, there's no Ukraine war. If the United States had this technology, you will not have the Korea War, the Vietnam War, the Second World War. So there there is something that we cannot explain. In my opinion, from the most logical answer for me for that is they are extraterrestrial for me.
And we do see them appearing as like Foo Fighters, as they were known in World War II, but surveying like not only military test runs in the U.S., but they'll be there watching battles and stuff. Do you think this is just to monitor how we fight our battles, so they kind of know what type of technologies we use in war situations?
That's a great question. Uh, if you study all the conflicts in in the world from ages, since the the Rome, since the Greeks, you will find sightings of flying ships, flying chariots, flying shields. Shields don't fly. Chariots don't fly. And if you go to the Bible, it's not my specialty, but if I like to read, if you go to the Bible, you're gonna find something very weird. And many researchers uh, affirm that the Bible is a book of history and sighting of UFO. Why they are here during our wars and conflicts? To look our technology, I don't know. To look if we're gonna destroy the planet, I don't know yet. But they are here. They were in the World War One. They were in the Korean War. They were in the Vietnam. They were in World War Two. They were on a Iraq war, the Desert Storm. They were there. There are many cases that UFOs were present in the conflicts, in the wars in our planet. The reason we don't know.
And you are an expert on the 1977 Colares, what I guess could be considered an attack on Brazil, which I guess is a small town somewhere in Brazil. I saw you do an interview with George Knapp about it, but could you go into some detail about this Colares thing? I have a bunch of questions about it, but it seemed like they were actually taking blood samples from people and causing human harm in this attack that seemed to go on for a little while.
Yeah, that's correct. But this events, these attacks, uh, don't happen only in Colares. Colares is a city of the Pará state in the north of Brazil. We had more than 200,000 people that witnessed these lights in the skies, the vampire lights, the chupa chupa. And we have more than 2,000 people that were attacked by these UFOs, these UAPs, these machines. And all started, well, the great wave, let's say, started in 1977, where people from uh, uh, Colares, Barcarena, Belém, some cities from Maranhão state in the northeast of Brazil, they were being attacked. The fishermen were being attacked by lights, and the people start to get in panic and asked for the mayor of the city to get help because something in the sky was shooting lasers from the people in the man in the leg and the woman up the breast or in the leg. So the many mayors start to get in touch with the Brazilian Air Force because it was in the sky. It's a Brazilian Air Force problem, and they start to investigate. And for the at the beginning, they didn't believe. They thought it was a panic or just a confusion, something like that. But then the Brazilian Air Force sent a team, a mission that became known as Operation Plate with the military personnel. They were there to investigate, to get testimonies, to get information, and they got all of this, and they got photos, and they got film, and they got witness, and they got report, and they saw it. The lead of this team was Captain back at the time, William Holanda. He was very skeptical. He didn't believe in UFOs. But then after that, he became one of the most important believer of the UFO in Brazil. And this big wave, let's call big wave, started in September 1977 until December 1977. And suddenly the mission was shut down. The Brazilian Force, well, this nothing unusual. It was nothing strange. They had photos. The newspapers at the time had photos. People are still seeing and being attacked by these UFOs. But the Brazilian Air Force said, well, that's not uncommon. Something, it's just a paranoia or imagination, or people are creating something. And the mission was shut down. They ended the mission. As far as we know, the mission didn't stop. The mission stopped with the Brazilian military. In 1978, we had another mission, but the wave was not that big. There's no more attacks over there. But we know that when the mission was ended in 1977, we know that some let's say, foreign people came to Colares to grab evidences, photos, films, medical reports of the victims. And they were there in the Brazilian jungle. They were there to investigate as well what was happening.
Did you say orange people or strange people?
Strange people, foreign,
Strange people.
foreign,
Oh,
from
foreign
from
people.
another, yeah, foreign
Oh,
from
God,
another
like Men
country,
in Black type people.
like agents from intelligence agencies in from the three letters, the country with three letters.
Right. So you're saying that they came, they took photographic evidence that people may have taken of their wounds and stuff, anything that was collected, and tried to make the whole thing disappear. I understand there's a video that it has like 22 hours of footage of vehicles coming out of the water, out of the sky, lasers. How did you find out about this video? And is this one of the things that was taken, or do you think it still exists somewhere?
Well, the videos exist, they exist, but we don't know where are the videos. We presume, we think that the videos are out of Brazil. Well, we have some options. The first option, the Brazil is still kept in secret these videos. The second option, the Brazilian just destroy it or miss it for some reason. They don't know how to storage and miss it because almost 40 years now. Uh, the third, someone got it. Someone in Brazil got it and took it. And another possibility is that this film was sent to the United States because we know that agents or intelligence, CIA, were here to investigate. And back that time, in 1977, the Brazil was, the militaries were government, governing Brazil. So we have this 22 hours of videos that shows perfect UFOs, that shows UFOs coming in, coming out of lagoons and rivers. If you go to north of Brazil, if you go to to, to jungle, the Amazon, the rivers of Brazil, in the north of Brazil, the rivers are so big that it looks like an ocean. You cannot see the other side of the river. Yes, the biggest rivers in the world are in Brazil. So these objects, the military filmed these objects coming in and coming out of the rivers and crossing in the sky and stopping over the vigil that militaries did in the beach of Maitá, for example. They make a camp there to watch the UFOs just appeared over them, hovered and shooting lasers and lights to the ground as they were searching for something. So the Operation Plate, in my opinion, is the hardest evidence that we have in Brazil because we have the testimonies. More than 200,000 of people saw it. We have documents, official documents. We have
Sorry,
photos, official
200,000 of this
photos.
one 1977 incident?
Yes,
Wow, so they're
200,000 people in 4 months
okay.
saw it. They were witness of these objects, the vampire lights, the chupa chupa. Because why chupa chupa? Because these lights suck blood from people. And how we know that they suck blood? Because when people went to the doctor, the hospital, make exams, and they discover that people got anemia. All the people got anemia when they got hit by the lights, and they suffered of a lack of iron in their blood. So why Devin, a technology extraterrestrial technology or spy technology would like to take blood samples from the victims. We don't know.
And someone's saying that how do we know it's aliens? Well, you're not necessarily saying it's aliens. It could be due to the technology that you're seeing, considering this was 1977.
Yeah, we can
But
say it's because the technology, the way they fly, they can fly in the sky, dive in the river, in the ocean, and then get out again. The same maneuver, the same easily maneuver. They don't. We don't have an airplane that can fly in the sky, fly in the sky, dive in the ocean, perform the same speed under the water, and in the sky we don't have it. And if it was a technology from the United States, from the former Soviet Union, China didn't exist in 1977. It's a poor country. It's a rural country. England, France, I don't know. Where are this technology now? We don't have it. We saw some videos that Jeremy Corbell put in their Instagram and their website in a ship of the United States that they recorded an object that was in the sky and died in the ocean. The same thing. But we are talking about something that happened in 1977. So what this technology?
and Luis Elizondo, who recently put out the book Imminent, talked about this incident. Is that because the United States studied it, and he would have studied this particular 1977 incident as part of his job as head of the Pentagon's UFO program for a time?
Well, I read the book, Elizondo's book. I read already, and chapter 2 talks about Colares. And but Elizondo was very superficial about this incident. He just met General Ushoa son. There was the General Ushoa father, and he met the General Ushoa son. The both generals, son and father, they loved the ufology. General Ushoa was an icon in the Brazilian ufology because he was from the army, and for the first time, he take the subject inside the army circle. They could speak, and he speak with the people from the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy. And Elizondo just in his book, he just gave a glimpse of was about Operation Plate. He didn't get detail. He didn't tell detail about what happened in Colares. I'm writing a book. I'm finishing to write a book about Colares with information that no one has outside of Brazil, and some information that even in Brazil are unknown. So what Elizondo brought was to put Colares again in a spotlight. And I was there in February. In January, I was there with George Knapp. We were there to shoot a episode of his documentary about Netflix documentary series documentary. They're gonna be released on November 8th on Netflix, and I was there with him, and we investigate some new cases in Colares and Barcarena, and with two. Of, we spoke with three of the most important characters of the Chupa Chupa, the Operation Plague, in back 1977.
I may have to get Netflix to watch that. As far as this whole Colares situation, it didn't come out public till like 25 years later. Was that because of declassified military documents, or how did this come out? Was it just with the internet and news traveling more, or what's the reason?
No, the the the, the Chupa Chupa case, the Chupa Chupa phenomenon, was new from the beginning, but only was published, were known uh, by people in that area in the north of Brazil, because the newspaper from Pará and Maranhão state, they wanted to publish something. And then this not got this this phenomenon didn't get a national wide uh, information, just regional on that area. And then Bob Pratt came to Brazil. The researcher Bobby Pratt came to Brazil and started to research some cases, and he discovered this more information about this case. But many investigation journalists in Pará and Maranhão, they were researching the case, investigating the case. Only in 1997, 20 years later, was when Captain Holanda, now Colonel Wiranje Holanda, he spoke, he called it to A.J. Jevar, the editor of the Revista UFO. He passed away in 2022. And Marco Antonio Petit, he called to AJ and told him, well, I have documents and I have information about the Operation Plate because I was there, I was the leader of this mission, and I want to speak. And then he spoke a lot of things and showed many documents that until that time was still secret. And he gave us a lot of documents. And with document in hands, we had the possibility to argue the Brazilian government. And well, I have this document. I want more. And in 2005, the Revista UFO magazine and the Brazilian Commission of Ufologists, we started a campaign called UFO Information of UFO, Information of UFOs Now. And so far, since 2005, we have more than 2,500 of documents, photos, and videos that released disclosure to the Brazilian people. You can find all these documents in the Brazilian National Archives. So, yeah, many people knew about this, what happened in 1977. But the Brazil and the world just got knowledge about this 20 years later.
For the sucking of the blood, did I understand correctly that people could have been inside their houses, lying in their beds, and these lasers would go right through the house, through the walls or the roof, and suck the blood out of them, even through the roof?
This is amazing. This is amazing. What kind of technology is that? Many of the victims were laid on their beds or on the nets, sleeping. And the UFO just hovered over the house and shot a laser beam that crossed the ceiling, but not breaking the ceiling. The ray goes through the ceiling and hit the people, and the woman over the breast, and the man in the neck or in the leg. And many of the victims, when they feel it, they feel a kind of hit, and like a needle was pinching the skin many times, pinching, pinching the skin many times. And when they look up, the ceiling was translucent, transparent, like there was no ceiling. So they could see the light, they could see the vehicle, they could see the aircraft, wherever. So there's no way to escape. The people of the many villages, many cities were so afraid that 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., they shut down the windows, the doors, no one in the street. Many people run to the church in Colares, and only the man stood out with his fireworks, guns, and and plates to make noise to avoid the UFOs. But they not always they got the success because the UFO just appeared and hit the people and sucked their blood.
Did anybody die from that incident, or what would have been the worst injury?
Yeah, officially we have one lady that died after the contact that after being hit by the laser beam because she had some problems, health problems, and this helped her to die, to help her uh, uh, to decease. But not officially, we have two more people that died because of the attacks. But when you had the opportunity to go, have the opportunity to come to Brazil, to the north of Brazil, you're gonna figure out that the north of Brazil is big. The Amazon is huge, huge. Its forest is huge. It's bigger than many countries in Europe, many countries in the world. So, if you live in a city, for example, if you live in Barcarena and you want to go to Belém, the capital of Pará, Barcarena city, and Belém is the capital of Pará. You have to take 3 hours by car and 1 hour and a half by ferry. So I'm telling you that because I was there in January. It was the time we take to get to the cities. Now wonder in 97.7, no streets. The streets of people that live there are the rivers. So this phenomena, the chupa chupa, if they didn't not attack only great big cities, they attacked inner the country, inner the state, cities that was very far from each other. So we believe that many people were attacked, and we believe that many people more than 200,000 people that saw it saw, and we don't have this information. And probably many more people died because they have no time to go to the hospital. They have no time to look for help, and they have no information of what to do. So we yes, so we believe that many people have more people must die because of the tax.
Do you think because of the size of the Amazon there and all the rivers that there could potentially be some sort of base in that area as to be one of the possible reasons why there's so many sightings?
Yeah, yeah. One of the reasons could be that because we have a lot of reports in ufology history that UFOs like water. If they have underwater bases, we don't know. But to have a lot of reports that UFOs get out of the water and get in of the water. Why? We have it in Amazon, in Brazil as a whole, but in Amazon we have many folklore creatures that are described like a ball of light that lives in the water and get out of the water to attack people with a laser beam. And this creature in the folklore we call here in Brazil mãe d'água, water mother. So what was that? A ball of light that came out of the river and hit people with the laser beam. If they live underwater, we don't know, but it is one of the possibilities.
I was going to ask you about this, but a fan is bringing it up. There's a famous human mutilation case in Brazil, the Brazilian reservoir case, where we've had tons of cases of animal mutilations where the blood is sucked out and very precise operations are done on cattle all throughout the world, but particularly in Canada and the US. But you have the most famous human mutilation. What could you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's the case Guarapiranga. It's a dam, it's a reservoir here in São Paulo, and was a man who was found dead, mutilated with missing flesh near the mouth, with no eyeballs, uh, with no rectum, anus. They was removed, and because of many lights that people saw over the reservoir from days before and days after, some UFO researchers concluded that though that men were killed or mutilated by aliens. But well, it's not something that 100% here in Brazil we believe. The version of Encarnação Zapata Garcia was the first to investigate. Encarnación, she believes that the man was attacked by a UFO and mutilated. But the ufologist very serious that passed away also, Claudio Corvo, he studied the case, he studied the photos, he studied the familiars, and he discovered that that poor guy died because of natural causes. He died. He was there fishing. He was there fishing, and he died. And what happened with the eyeballs? The soft parts of the body. Animals ate it, and this is very common happen there because the Atlantic jungle we call Mata Atlântica. I don't know how to call it in English Atlantic jungle. Uh, and he proved it that the explanation should be that. Many people don't believe it. I do believe that what happened there was not nothing extraterrestrial or mutilation. It was a fatality. That man was dead, and he was there for the weekend, for the week, because he left on a Friday to fish, and he would stay for 2 days until Sunday, uh, or the next day, and he didn't come home. And in 2 days, well, the animals couldn't do that. And in my opinion, this mutilation is nothing extraterrestrial.
Now, there was a movie by Jamie Foxx called Moment of Contact, which I wish they had had less subtitles for us English people and actually put the more English verbiage in it. But it is from a famous UFO landing in 1996. And I won't try and pronounce the name of the place. I'll let you tell it. But could you tell us what you know about that story? It's like the Brazilian Roswell.
Yeah, it was not a land; it was a crash. It's a Virginia case. James Fox, a friend of mine, I helped him a little in this documentary, Moment of Impact. He came to Brazil and it was, well, first thing, he uh, got in love with this case when he came to Brazil several times, and he knew about this case and started to research. And he came to Brazil to make this documentary, and he spoke with many of the witnesses and find out with Marco Aurelio, who's a Brazilian ufologist as well, friend of mine as well. And they discovered other witnesses that didn't talk about what they saw in 1996. And what happened in 1996? A UFO crashed in Varginha, is a city of Belo Horizonte state here in Brazil. And we don't know how many, but at least 5 or 6 entities, crew of this ship, uh, were in Virginia. And the Brazilian army and Brazilian army and the firefighters of the Virginia city, they took at least five of that creatures. One alive, the other four were dead. One of the most impressive uh, part of this case was the intelligent soldier Shiraz. He was an intelligent soldier, intelligent agent of the Brazilian army because because why is interesting? Because he got one of the creatures he touched in one of the creature, one of the Virginia creature, and he died few few days later. And we still have a controversy between the doctors that attended him because some say, well, he's a general infection caused by some virus that we don't understand, we don't know. And others said, no, he had already some disease and got some virus that virus. But where this virus came from? He touched with the creatures without gloves, the barely hands. So we believe that something happened to him. We don't know why. We don't know what happened to him, but caused it. He's dead. And the Brazilian army, together with the Virginia fighters, they got this the UFO. They got the entities from this UFO, and they took to Unicamp, is a University of Campinas in São Paulo state. And from there, they put in boxes. And a few days later, an airplane from NASA, from the United States, just landed in Virginia airport. A great airplane, a cargo airplane from the United States. And many witnesses saw many boxes, several sizes, were on board of this airplane, and this airplane took off and left Brazil. So, no, we don't have UFOs or aliens here in Brazil because we gave to the United States.
As far as the reports, was this alien injured or anything, or what was like how was this alien? Was he aggressive? Was it passive? Like, what were the reports of what it was like?
Passive, passive, and afraid. They, the Katja and Liliane, and one of the girls, they saw one of the creatures crouched in a wall, trembling, like he was very afraid. The alien had a big red eyes, a brown color, with some kind of oil, and have three horns in his head, and a smell of sulfur. And the girls saw it, and when they saw it, they feel that the creature was afraid or suffering, and they run away because they thought that it was a devil. And when they got home, they called their mom, and their mother came to their place, but the creature was not there anymore. But the smell of sulfur was still there. So the creatures, in any moment, were aggressive. We were aggressive. We killed them. I don't know. We don't know if this creature were the crew of the UFO that crashed. We don't know. We don't know they were just the engineers, the pilots, or I don't know. But the bad guys in this episode was us. Were us. We did it.
So someone's asking, so that wouldn't have been one of the Chuba Chubras, though this crash in 1996 may have been a different race a
Probably,
non-aggressive race.
probably, because well, for us, let's think. What happened 1977? UFOs, whatever, were shooting laser beams on people and suck their blood. It's aggressive. Of course, it's aggressive because it hurt people. People got disease, vomit, weaknesses, could not walk. When people died, it's aggressive. But in our perspective, this is our perspective. They weren't aggressive. They hurting us. They hurted us. But we do the same in lab rats. We do the same in dogs to cosmetics. We do the same in sharks when we put some tag on a shark. We put a tag in a shark. We put a tag in a lion. We put a tag in several animals. We extract blood from animals as well. So if you to consider that they were aggressive, I agree they were aggressive. But we do the same with the animals. Why? Because we are more advanced. We are more intelligent than those animals. The aliens are more advanced, more intelligent than us. Maybe for them, we are just lab rats.
Yeah, if we're the aliens to the sharks, if they because it would be the same thing if they could communicate, they wouldn't know for sure if we existed or not. Only some of them would see us. If you consider the size of the oceans and everything. There was another big sighting in 1982 in Brazil, I guess, over a soccer game before 24,000 people. Could you tell us about this one?
Yes, a soccer game in Brazil in 1982 in Campo Grande is the capital of Mato Grosso do Sul state here in Brazil. And there was a Brazilian championship and was playing Operário and Vasco da Gama. They were playing, and suddenly a huge UFO just crossed the stadium with more than 35 people attending the stadium, and the game stopped. And the people start to look up, and it was very fast, but many people saw the UFO, and many players saw the UFO. The referees saw, but none of the camera of the in the game or photographer, none of them saw because they with the photo machine they used like this in the face and the cameras as well. They didn't pay attention of that, but more than 35 people in the stadium they saw it. Players saw it, and the referees saw it. Is the color? This case is called the Morenão case. The name of the stadium is Morenão.
So, what do you think? What would be your theory? You've been studying this for a long time of what's going on. What do you think is going on with all of these UFOs?
Well, I think they are from another planet. For me, it's the most logical explanation. Uh, they have the technology that allow allow them to travel through the universe. I don't know, wormhole, a wormhole, something like that. I don't know, but they have this technology. And if you think that the human race are here on the planet, the human race or the first human race, we are here from 300,000 years on the planet. Our planet has 6 billion years. The universe has 12 billion years. Uh, a million years in a time lapse of the universe is nothing. Is a is a just grain of sand in a beach. So Why not another planet with 6 billion and 100 million years old have a civilization for a million years of existence? We just have 300, 300,000 years of existence. Why not another civilization? Or do you believe that we, just us in the universe, we are the most intelligence, intelligent race in the universe? Well, I don't think we are so smart. And we can send satellites and we can send probes through the universe. Maybe this others and other civilizations have the technology to come to our planet, to travel in the universe. And as we do when we find a tribe that never had contact with another kind of human, and we have this in Brazil, in Amazon, we have tribes that are isolated from the society, from the civilization. Why not this civilization from our planet came to our planet, do what they have to do, trying to not interfere in our way of life. Of course, they interfere. When we see it, they are interfering in our way of life. But they try not to do. So they come here from another planet, watch us, learn about us, and leave. Why not? So for me, I think that they're here to study, they're here to get some samples from us, they're here to make something, some agenda that we don't have no idea what it is.
And in Lou Elizondo's book, he kind of seems to theorize that they may not have been as interested in us in the past because we didn't have such advanced weapons as we do now that might actually be able to affect them. He used the example of a gorilla with like a sledgehammer, a gorilla with a machine gun, or something like that. Do you think that could be the case too? That they might be a little bit more dangerous to us now than in the past because we have more advanced weapons, and that might be why they're so interested in our nuclear capabilities? Or what is your theory on what Lou was talking about there? Because he was
Yeah,
saying like it's almost reconnaissance that they might be doing on us.
I think that we are more danger now than in the past, of course. So they are here to watch us. Uh, Back in the 80s, the contactees, back in the 70s, the 80s, the contactees is different from the abductees. When they were invited to go to their spaceship and speak with the aliens always show a screen, a big screen, flat screen, just the modern TV, and they show, well, you have to stop to use your nuclear weapons, the atomic bombs. You have to stop it. If you don't stop it, you're going to destroy your planet. We don't care if you kill yourselves. We don't care. But you cannot destroy the planet, because if you destroy the planet, the consequence is not going to only be to your planet, it's going to be to the universe, to the solar system, to the galaxy. So you have to stop to use the nuclear weapon, the atomic bombs. So I think that now we are much more danger to them that they are danger to us. Because if they want to conquer us, to destroy us, they probably should do done that years ago.
What do you think of the people that theorize since, well, in your case, they're sucking blood from people. In a lot of these abduction cases, they seem to be taking like sperm and egg samples from people. Even in the cattle mutilations, they're taking parts. Do you think they're creating hybrids or something along those lines that they could potentially either be using themselves for whatever purpose or populating the world here with them? Like, what do you think they're doing with all of this bodily fluids?
I did not disbelieve. I did not disbelieve. I know Dr. Jacobs, David Jacobs. I know him. We were together in 2017, speaking here in Brazil, in Minas Gerais, in Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais. And he's a great friend of mine. And we speak a lot. And I asked him, Doctor, what about this abductees, these people that say that the alien came and and, and implant some fetus in a woman uterus, and they come back and take it off. Why did you believe, Doctor? Come on, let's talk. Just you and me. Do you believe that? Because it's very hard to believe. And Micharo, I do believe because you have many people talking about the same thing, the same modus operandi, the same way the aliens came and do that in different parts of the world. And the people didn't know each other. And many of these people never heard about ufology, never got, never gave any importance to this subject. So why a woman come to my office to tell me that she was pregnant by an alien? Why is she gonna do that? And many of my patients, David told me, Dr. Jacob told me, many, the most part, almost 100% of my patients, they tell me that I don't know, I don't want to uh, uh, to get publicity. Please don't tell my name to anyone. It's very embarrassing. I don't like it. So I do believe now. I don't disbelieve, and I do believe that they are here for some reason that we don't know. In my opinion as well, I think there's not only one race. There are many races. One race probably make a cattle mutilation. Another one hybridization. Another one suck blood. Another one just come here to watch us and learn from us, learn about us. So we don't have the correct answer. Maybe all the answers are correct. We don't know.
As far as what they look like, I mean, I've heard of the grays, which is like the one to my left of you, and I guess the one to the right is another type of gray. And supposedly there's some that look like us. We hear, and I've even heard George Knapp say it, that supposedly there's one that looks like praying mantis, and he actually has a backyard infested with praying mantis bugs for some reason. What are the main types that you've heard of that seem credible, that aren't like that are potentially believable from the amount of evidence you've seen?
The more common is this one here, the gray, the most common. Well, I wrote a book about the UFO guide of typology and alien typology, and in my research I discovered that until the 60s, the 70s, the most common alien reported was the Nordic, the blonde hair, uh, blue or green eye, taller than human, like 2 meters. And from the 80s to 90s and beginning of 2000, the Greys appeared. The Greys doing the abductions. And from the 2000, 2010, the reptiles, the lizards, start to appear in the abduction in the cases from 2010 so far start to appear the bugs, the mantis. So I don't know if they are evolving. We don't know if they are more than one race. I do believe, but Dave Jacobs, he doesn't. He just believes on grace, about the grace. So the most common depends the decade, depends the time. Now if you see the reports, the grays are still the most common. The people associate the grays in the past was the little green man. The people connect with the extraterrestrial. Now they connect the grays with the extraterrestrial. You can see it. Many grays in everywhere. If you talk about an alien, draw an alien. A kid gonna draw a a gray with a big black eyes and a gray skin.
Someone has a question here. They're wondering if it's the powers that be, like the government, forcing less information being out there to not destroy the religious systems or put the world into the panic. What do you think the reason is for the secrecy? Is it just military reasons or is it the aliens themselves telling these governments we don't want it public? There could be a number of reasons.
That's correct. A number of reasons. There's an amazing book by Richard Dolan, AD, After Disclosure. It's an amazing book. Dolan, he wrote this book creating scenarios of what's gonna happen to our society, like a human being, if the government confirm that we have been visited by extraterrestrial from beings from another planet. And Dolan make several scenarios, scenes from economic to power and energy to religion and many others. Education, a new era of aquarium, and I agree with him. In my opinion, why the government didn't tell the truth? One, because if it did tell the truth, now he's gonna he's gonna be charging himself, government, saying that, well, we lied for you for more than 15 years. Everything that we said that was a lie was true. Many people lost their jobs, their life, their family, their friends, because the Air Force told them, if you say something, you're gonna regret, or you're crazy. No one is gonna believe you. And people lost their lives, their jobs. The second reason, if they confirm that an intelligent civilization, more intelligent than us, are here in our planet, we are not the best creature of God. We are not the smartest. We are not uh, the image of God, as the Bible says. We are the image of the God. We are not. Or they are not from or the aliens are not son of the God. So if the government release all the information, and that I don't think they're gonna have a full disclosure. Of course, that sometime, some someday, uh, we will find another civilization in the universe, an intelligence. They're probably gonna visit us, or we're gonna visit them. But I don't think the government is gonna say the truth, 100%. And they start, in my opinion, they are preparing us to this moment. I think the disclosure started in 2017 when those videos from Elizondo in the New York Post, no, so I think the Washington Times or New York Post, the New York Times, that leaked the three videos, the Gunball, Go Fast, and the TikTok. They released it. I think the disclosure started in that point. What happened in the past, Devon, they never gone confirmed. And now they're preparing the humankind to this reality, to this reality, because it's real. We are not alone in the universe. And other civilization from another world, from another universe, from a parallel universe, from, I don't know, another dimension, they are here. And now they have to prepare us because just say, well, they are here, we're going to have a little chaos.
I even think them approving, because I know Lou Elizondo's book went through that whole Doppler approval process, them approving him to release so much information in that book is part of this soft disclosure to get us ready. But it seems like the people that don't care or that don't believe are still not going to believe, no matter how much evidence. They're going to need to see some crazy evidence to believe, in the people like us that are researching it and are interested in it already believe, and we're not really panicking. I might be a little bit nervous, but I don't think it's going to put any riots or start anything too crazy if more information comes out.
Uh, I think that, well, the people only going to believe if they see a flying saucer or an alien getting out of a flying saucer. And I think that the I think it's gonna is there's a movie in Brazil. I'm typing here to see the name in English. The name in Portuguese is A Chegada, the movie with Jeremy Renner and Nicholas Whittaker and Amy Adams. I don't know how it's in English, but for me, uh, I think it is gonna be like this way: a bigger ship, a UFO, is gonna disappear and just hover some place of our planet, and we start to communicate with them. I think it's gonna be like this. I don't think that they're gonna attack us or we're gonna make a film and film a UFO in the sky. I don't think so. To people believe they're gonna see it. They're gonna see it alive with their own eyes. And for this to happen, I don't think it's gonna be military action. It's gonna be more their their action than ours.
Yeah, if there was something like the Phoenix Lights now with everyone having cell phones, it really
Yeah.
would be undisputable. But is the Brazilian government more open than I think the Americans more open than the Canadian government? But how is the Brazilian government with UFO disclosure? Are they more open about it, or do they try and say there's nothing to see here?
No, the Brazilians very open for that, but they don't care. They don't care. We don't have an agency. We don't have a department. We didn't have a office to investigate UFO. We don't have it. The ufologists here will do this. We invest. We investigate. And Brazil, I always say, Brazil has major problems. We have economic problems. We have political problems. We have social problems. We don't care about if a UFO or an alien are walking here in Brasilia or in Rio. They don't care. Uh, if only if a UFO crashing in a Brazilian airplane or attacked, they're gonna take some action. Besides that, nothing's gonna happen. And we Brazilian ufologists, the Brazilian Commission of Ufologists, we tried in 2013. We had a meeting in a minister of defense of Brazil. We had an interview and a meeting with the representatives of the Brazil Air Force, Brazilian Army, and Brazilian Navy, and we suggest to create a civil military group to investigate the UFO phenomena. Didn't work out. So we had the impeachment of the president Dilma Rousseff. We had the impeachment, and all that thing that we built just crashed down. So Brazil, yeah, it's open, but don't care.
One thing that you don't have a problem with is you have some of the most beautiful women in the world there.
Yeah, we do.
HCF Media says, how many aliens do you think were recovered in the Brazilian Roswell crash?
In
Which I can't pronounce.
Virginia,
Yeah.
Virginia, at least 6. We 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 are sure that 6 creatures were taken by the army and the firefighters in Virginia, but some say that 12 entities were seen in Virginia.
The last question I'll ask you about, I know you probably know about Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy that Louis Elizondo and Hal Puthoff and all these Christopher Mellon were part of at one point. I heard an interview where Tom DeLonge said at one point they had an Operation Starfish Prime where they let off nuclear bombs in space, and he says that the real reason for that was to knock some UFOs out of the air. Have you heard anything about that? Because supposedly the EMF, the electromagnetic field that causes from nuclear bombs going off, can affect, or could at that point affect how UFOs fly in some cases.
Yeah, Devin, I heard about it, but for amazing claims, you have to show amazing evidence. And Tom DeLonge is doing a lot to the ufology, to the UFO research. But we have to be very critical with some claims that have no evidence. When I say that the UFOs, in my opinion, are from other planet, is because what I saw, what I studied, what I heard, uh, there is nothing in our planet that can do the same. So if here in our planet we cannot replicate what those UFOs can do, they are not from our planet. They are not ours, like humankind. So I think down the long, when he talks too much, he have to prove too much as well.
Yeah, I think he was responsible for first leaking those 3 UFO military videos. So hopefully I think we're overdue to get some good ones leaked. I know we've had that octopus looking one, which I don't know, that one, it's unusual looking, but because of the shape and everything, people don't take it as serious. So hopefully there'll be some more believable ones that come out soon that the general public will be more interested in. But you have a website. Could you
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about your website and where people can follow you to get more information about your research?
yeah. Well, I'm the editor of the Revista UFO magazine, so our website is www.ufo.com.br. The best information of ufology in Brazil in the world you can find. It's in Portuguese, but you can translate to English. Just put in a right click on your mouse. You can translate to English. And also we have the Revista UFO magazine, the oldest publication is still running in the world, the most serious and quality UFO magazine here. It's in Brazil, the Revista UFO magazine. So you can find my work, my teamwork as well, and www.ufo.com.br.
Very good. Well, I appreciate your time, and again to the fans watching, this is one of the guys that I would say is very credible to listen to if you want to know about UFOs. And here's your book.
Yeah, can I make a merchandise here? My UFO contacts in Brazil, my book, you can find it at Amazon.com. Just looking for it. More than 500 pages. It's a brick, a very big book, but there's more than 500 pages, more than 300 of documents, photos, and drawings about UFOs. Everything that happened in Brazil from pre-1930s to 2015, you're gonna find in this book. A lot about Virginia, a lot about Ubatuba case, a lot about Operation Plate, and much more.
Could you show us some of the drawings, or would that be too
Yeah,
much?
yes. Here, this amazing case, an abduction case,
Which case is
and we
that?
have yes, an abduction case. It's Antonio Alves abduction case. These are the aliens,
Do you
and we
think abductions have been increasing or decreasing recently? Because I've heard that there seems to be less now. There's been a few periods of time where it seems like there's been more abductions than other times.
yeah, back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, there are much more reports of abductions. And I think it's a seasons, different season they come here to make the abduction or whatever. But the sightings of the UFOs are increasing a lot. Many, of course, are drones or satellites, something like that. But many unexplainable UFOs sightings are increasing here.
Last fan question: is the movie sign correct that aliens hate water? Obviously, they go in with their vehicles. I've heard actually some cases in Russia of aliens in water. So I don't know if that's true. I guess it might depend on the breed.
Well, perhaps that type of aliens hate water, are afraid of water. But uh, we have a lot of cases that the UFO are over the water or diving in the water to get out of the water. I don't think. I think they like water, and there are some say that they use the water to energy, uh, like as a fuel to the machines.
Yeah, because we see water being sucked up in the craft in many cases.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Well, I really appreciate your time, and I'll let you close this off with whatever you want to tell the fans to close it off.
Well, first of all, Devon, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here to talk a little about the ufology in Brazil. And don't forget, if you want to know more about Brazilian ufology, get this book and also go to website of the Revista UFO magazine, www.ufo.com.br. Thank you very much.